Alright, so I'm going to do a quick arms warrior guide for PvP. This shit's not complicated. Here's the deal. Don't take Rend. Take Avatar. Overpower. Yeah. I don't think any of these you can really switch around. So Dauntless, I guess I could explain a little bit of this, but this is pretty much what you want to do. Mortal Combo, mainly because you're not a PvEer, you don't have the set bonus, which I only have like one piece of, but your slam has 30% chance to reset the cooldown on Mortal Strike. You don't have that. And having 2 charges of Mortal Strike pretty much gives you it makes your rotation really good. Anytime you're slamming in PvP, you're doing like bleh damage, like it's not great, right? And Focus Rage is nerfed. It only does 20%, stacking up to 3 times. And on top of that, you probably won't have the rage to manage it. If you do have excess rage right now in BGs, and maybe you watch Bajir and stuff, like the set bonuses, the Warlord of Draenor set bonus, which makes you get rage for damage taken as a warrior. It works in Battlegrounds, it doesn't work in arenas, and it's not going to be there in Legion, so if you think like, oh, I'll take Focus Rage because I have so much rage in Battlegrounds, haha, now you got shit, dude. So don't take it. It's not worth, unless they buff it back, because if you do the math, like this is 2 Mortal Strikes. You would need, because it's not 50, it's actually 20% damage in PvP. This would be 3 stacks of it is 60 instead of 150 or something. It's pretty bad. And even if you had it normally, you'd need to Mortal Strike, have every Mortal Strike be at least 2 stacks to be equivalent to Mortal Combo. And the thing is that when you get Mortal Strike resets from where is it? Tactician, you're not going to be able to keep up with Focus Rage. And because you're spending so much rage with Focus Rage, you'll be getting more resets. And so it pretty much is like, to really do a lot of damage with it and make it like really consistent, you want to have at least 2 to 3 stacks of it every time. But because you're spending so much rage, you're always resetting your Mortal Strike, and so you'll always have Mortal Strike up while you're trying to stack up your Focus Rage, instead of like it always being on cooldown or something. And on top of that, you could just straight like if you take this, you kind of have to take Dauntless, and taking Dauntless is like not very good if you're taking Anger Management, because every 10 rage you spend reduces the cooldown of Battlecry by 1 second. This makes you spend less rage, and so your rotation and you is better, and you have like, you don't really have downtime as much, but you're not going to be getting Battlecry up as much. So Focus Rage is like weird. I don't really like the mechanics. It's kind of eh. It's just kind of I don't know. It's maybe if it did more damage, it'd be worth. I'm not really sure. I just don't really like the way it plays out. In for the kill, not PvP, because like the amount of time that they spend in execute phase, like the moment they hit execute phase in PvP, you hit execute. Like you don't, like in PvE, you have like your rotation because the boss has so much health that when you're at like, when you hit 20%, it's like you stay there for like maybe a minute or 2. I don't know, depending on the boss, you stay there for like a good amount of time, and so like you can be like, okay, I'll Mortal Strike and then I'll execute, and then I'll Mortal Strike and I'll execute or whatever. But in PvP, it's like they're 20% execute. Come on, get them, and maybe in 2 executes they're dead, depending on if they have a healer or not. You're not really gonna be like, oh, I executed them once, All right, now let me Mortal Strike and execute phase and then do it again. Like it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then it's also like a big damage loss because you won't have a second Mortal Strike. And also, the even more importantly probably is that this talent, In for the Kill, only works at 20% health. If they're not in execute range, you don't have a level 75 talent. So it's kind of bad. Mortal Kombat is super good, I guess. This maybe, if it wasn't so weird and they didn't nerf it, and yeah. Other talents to really talk about, I think Rend is really bad. It does 35k over 15 seconds. That's like how much overpower hits. And Mortal Strike does like 30k top end. So you do these instantly. You could do like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 of these in 15 seconds, and like this is one. and it costs more rage, and it's another thing you want to hit, and like maybe if you're bleeding multiple people, but who the hell wants to walk around like rending everybody? That's not in PvP. This one's really good if you think you're going to be whirlwinding a lot, obviously. Especially combined with cleave. Like whirlwind actually does do like a lot of damage if you get like a really good cleave off. Like if you hit like probably like 3 to 5, that's just rough. Like you'll be doing like a lot of damage with it. But in general, you take Avatar not really for the damage. The damage is nice, and like maybe I'll pop it because I'm just trying to kill somebody, but it breaks roots and snares, so you can't get kited as easy, which is like super OP. Because like most of the time you won't be taking, your only 2 mobility talents are bounding stride, so you have to take defensive stance, right? Defensive stance is insane. Like maybe if you're BGing and like you're bored, you want second wind, but like if you're doing any arenas or you're gonna like take this into Legion and be competitive, like you take defensive stance. It's too strong. Unless for some reason you think you don't need it, and then this one is really good, but I don't know, this is so insane. Like 20% is ridiculous. So you're not really going to be taking bounding stride, probably, unless you're messing around. And then you're probably not going to be double time. I actually really like double time. I think double time is super good, especially for mages and hunters and other classes that kite you. But utility is hard to give up, and so this is probably not going to take it. You don't know if you're going to take it or not. And so if you don't have your mobility talents, you're kind of screwed. And so being able to remove roots and snares is like a really, really, really good buff for mobility, and you don't have to sacrifice like these really good talents to get it. Like you're like fervor is like good, but like it's not great because like Mortal Strike is like Mortal Strike, execute, overpower, like and Colossus Smash, right? Like you already have amazing single target moves, like especially if you take Mortal Combo, you're not really going to be whirlwinding that much, so you don't really lose a lot taking Avatar here, but you would lose a lot taking double time or bounding stride in these 2 talents. And even though this is not real mobility, right? It doesn't actually move you anywhere. It's like effective mobility, because if you get Ice Nova'd by a mage, or you get Entangling Roots by a druid, or anything like that, those are the easiest ones, especially the mage. Ice Nova on mage, oh my gosh, like if you're versing a fire mage and they Ice Nova you that's rough, dude. That's not a fun time, especially a fire mage. So yeah, Roots and Snares, really good to break out of. Your only other way to get out of Roots and Snares is Bladestorm. Bladestorm is also less damage in PvP. I'll probably link the website where like it says what's like change, because they do like their hidden internal PvP balance changes, and they keep a thread of it of all the changes they've done. And like Bladestorm is like 60% damage or something, and like focus rage is really bad. So you pretty much use this for a snare break, and this is like probably you can use it for damage, but you probably want to hold on to it. And then this is like probably just snare break, or like so you don't want to get CC'd. That's pretty much the only time you use it. And if you are gonna if you Bladestorm a lot, you want a macro that cancels your Bladestorm aura. I don't know where mine is. Yeah, I used to have it in a Shattering Throw, but you just type /cancel aura Bladestorm. Also put that down, bind it to a key, and yeah, so that way when you get like Mortal Strike back or a Colossus Smash back or something, or you get an Overpower proc, then you can just cancel it and hit it, because like they're gonna do way more damage. Mortal Strike, Overpower, Colossus Smash, all way more damage than Bladestorm. So this is like, it looks optional, but it's really not, if that makes sense. Like these are the big options, Fervor and Avatar, but like I don't know, you play it out. If you really think you're getting messed up a lot by range classes, or maybe it's like you think you don't really get messed up that bad, then like just take Fervor. But I probably never play with Fervor, like ever. I always take Avatar, because even if I'm not using it to break snares, it's 20% damage increase, which is awesome. I love that. Hits them so hard. I love murdering people, so anything that gives me damage buff is something I like. And like I'd rather Mortal Strike than, like, I don't really like whirlwinding, to be honest with you. So yeah, so we got this it's just your stuns and your mobility. Like seriously, I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory. just read it. Stormbolt's super strong, really good to take in generic situations, ranged. Shockwave, multiple targets, usually melee comps if you're in arenas. Super good in battlegrounds, but double time is also amazing. Test it out, see what you like. If you don't think you need a stun, take double time. Double time is great. I really, really like this talent. I almost feel like just having it's not even the 2 charges as much as it is the CDR, like the cooldown reduction on your charge. That is amazing. Because the 2 charges is kind of gimmicky. It's like, oh, I charge the mage. Oh, he blinks. I charge. Or I charge the hunter and he, disengages and I charge him. Or maybe like the warlock has his demon circle. I don't know. Or he has like his gateway or something, right? But then you're just done. Like you have no charges left. It's kind of gimmicky. But with the charge cooldown, it makes your charge come up so much more. And that's super powerful. Sorry this is all over the place, but that's just how it goes. So this tree, Titanic Might is garbage. Like you only really use it if you're gonna multi-Colossus smash people. But like, especially in Legion, like you're just gonna get your artifact weapon, which applies Colossus smash to like everybody around you. So like this is pretty much garbage, to be honest. And you're gonna get that artifact trait that like makes your tactician proc as if you spent 30% more rage. So like your tactician's gonna be procking more in Legion too. And yeah, so I don't even know why this is a thing, to be honest. I don't like it at all. 20% effect. It reduces, like, come on, dude. Anyway, trauma, great for AoE, not that great for single target. I'll explain why. I think people probably have the most problems with me saying this. I think they'll have the least problems with me saying overpower, because like Dauntless is only good in AoE and Sweeping Strikes is such a small range and it's only for 2 moves. It's really not worth it. Maybe if you're PvE and you're cleaving like straight up. Maybe if you're in an arena and you get a lot of damage out of it. I don't know. You're versing like TSG or some melee cleave. I don't know. Test it out. I don't really think it's worth it. Overpower hits really hard. It's your hardest hitting move outside of Execute. 60% crit chance, can't be dodge, block, or parried. Super strong against rogues, super strong against warriors, because rogues and warriors both have parry. Rogues also can get evasion. If you're an outlaw rogue, you have parry. Awesome utility, hits insanely hard, only 10 rage, great move. This is questionable. Great for AoE because Whirlwind actually costs a lot of rage, but other than that, you don't really need it. So, here. Why do I not like trauma? It's not that I think that trauma is bad. A lot of people see this and they say free damage, awesome, I'll take it. That's so cool. If I slam and I whirl, if I'm in an if I'm in a BG or something, I'm doing RBGs, I'm doing BGs. Maybe you can't do 5s anymore. Maybe I'm, I'm versing a melee team and I just want to cleave like really hard in arenas. I just spam Whirlwind. I take my Fervor of Battle and I take my Trauma and I just spam Whirlwind, and I get this huge bleed stack on them. Right. First of all, I don't think bleeds are good unless you need them. I'm not really sure how they changed like the CC, but I know because I think like some stuff removes debuffs and I don't know. Like it used to be like, oh, he's dotted, I blinded him, oh, he got knocked out of dot. Oh, I was trying to poly, I was trying to fear, and they all got knocked out. But I think they kind of changed that, so that's not really much of an issue. I'm not really sure how they did. Either it removes the debuffs. Fear like never breaks either. Like fear doesn't break for anything, dude. You can sit in like a 5-second fear. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so that's not a problem. But it's like free damage. Okay, 20%. Like I think it does like not a lot of damage. And the only argument I could see for it would be free damage, which is awesome. But I don't even like to slam or whirlwind. That's the main thing, is that I think that Arms Warrior's best thing they have is their single target. I think they murder single target crazy. Because you also have to consider that like Colossus Smash is a huge part of your gameplay. And even though in Legion you get the artifact weapon that will apply your Colossus Smash debuff to people around you, that's only once a minute. And the debuff, lasts for like 8 seconds, right? And so you pretty much will have 52 seconds of not Colossus smashing multiple targets. Unless you take Titanic Bite, which is like, I don't know, maybe it's actually secret OP and I'm just a hater, you know. But it feels bad. It looks bad. You get a lot of resets. It's, I don't know. So, single target is super duper strong. I don't like how they did it, but with your mastery the way it is right now, like increases damage of your Colossus Smash by 52%, and then makes him take damage, like damage you deal to the target is increased by 52%. I mean, this is just because I have 52 mastery. I think I only have like 20 or something in PvP. But yeah, it's like your single target is monstrous compared to your AoE. And I don't think it's worth taking a talent to make your AoE better when your single target is your strong suit. I think you should be playing to your strong suits. That's how I feel. And I feel that Arms Warrior right now is a really, really strong single target compared to AoE. I think if you want to do AoE, you should play Fury. To be perfectly honest, I think that Arms has really strong burst with bladestorm, but I think that Fury, if you take Wrecking Ball, which gives like your proc to make your whirlwind do more damage, and you make sure you rampage and stuff like that, like I think the AoE is super strong. And whirlwind's free too, which makes it really easy to spam. And yeah, and like I don't slam either. Like I think slam is like such a garbage move, right? And so I Mortal Strike, I Overpower, I Colossus Smash. I rarely slam. You see it's on 9. Like, who the hell wants to hit 9? Like, 8. I have, like, a mouse, a gaming mouse, right? Like, no one hits 9, right? That's why it's there, because I don't really care about it. Just spam, right? Like, I could hit shift 9 for my Die by the Sword, but, like, I'm not going to spam 9. I'll spam 1, you know? I'll spam 2, 3, 4, whatever. I'll spam those, but not 9. So this is only really worth it for Whirlwind. Like, if you're arguing about this for Slam over Deadly Calm, which is crazy, and I'll explain why, if you don't think that it's insane, because I think this is ridiculous, okay? If you're arguing that this you would use this for Slam, like, I just don't agree with that at all. It's does so low damage, man, seriously. Like, it would be for Whirlwind, it'd be for AoE, and I think that Arms AoE isn't worth it. I think its single target is way stronger, and you should play to your strengths. Not trying to compensate for something you're not nearly as good, especially compared to like the other classes. Like, have you seen Unholy DKs? Like, holy moly, dude, they do so much AoE. It's crazy. Like, I don't think you would pick Arms in a BG or an arena. Like, if you're doing RBGs, you would not get an Arms Warrior for AoE. You'd pick them because they destroy single target and they have a super strong execute. That's why you'd pick an Arms Warrior, in my opinion. Now, if you love just like AoEing and bleeding everything, and that's the way you like to play games, then you take Fervor Trauma. Hell yeah, dude. Go do it. If you're like super tryhard and you're a nerd, or like you actually want to be like really competitive, I don't think it's worth it in my opinion. They're just kind of meh, right? But like remember, like, okay, so 2 things to remember is that maybe current information, maybe me, maybe anybody else out there just doesn't really know how to play this stuff yet, because like it's pre-patch, like it's been out for like a couple weeks, you know, like, and then it's gonna be Legion 2, and like it hasn't been like 3 years yet, you know. No one's really fleshed out the meta super hard and played everything, so maybe this stuff really is OP. I don't know. I don't think it is, but who knows. And the other thing to think about is like, how do you actually like to play? Because like, it's not like these are awful, right? It's not like Trauma and Fervor are awful. It's not like if you pick these, you're like the worst player in the world, you're an idiot, right? Like, this is especially not Trauma. Like, depending on the situation, like if you just spam Whirlwind, like Fervor's really good, and if you combine it with Trauma, it's super good. Like, that's awesome. I just don't think that's the way you should be playing Arms Warrior currently. I don't think it makes sense. I think it's playing to a weakness and not a strength. Now, Deadly Calm is nuts. This thing is nuts because it solves your rage problems, right? Once you pop this, you have no rage costs. And if you don't take... So, Arms has rage problem, right? If you ever have to use Slam, like, you have rage issues as Arms. And that's kind of solved in BGs by the set bonus that people may or may not realize they have on, because you get rage for taking damage. But when you lose that, or if you're in arenas, which I don't think set bonuses work in, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, in Legion, when you play, like, you're not going to have, like, as much rage as you do right now, especially in BGs. And so... you're going to be rage starved if you ever have to Slam or Whirlwind or Cleave or do anything besides Overpower, Colossus Smash, and Mortal Strike, because Overpower is 10 rage, Colossus Smash is free, and Mortal Strike is 20 rage. So Slam is also 20 rage, But this hits like insanely hard. Like Slam does like 10k, 12k less. Like hell no, dude. And Mortal Strike applies like your healing debuff, and yeah, no, Mortal Strike blows it out of the water, to be honest. So, how do you solve rage problems besides Dauntless? Because you really, really want to take Overpower. This move is insane. I can't express that enough. This move is nuts. I have it on 3 because I want to hit it all the time. If you get a lot of procs in a row, like, you'll murder someone. Deadly Calm, free rage, makes your rotation easy. You have no more rage problems, pretty much, because by the time that you get your battle rage up again, like, you'll probably... That's when usually rage starved. Also, execute phase. If they are in execute range and you pop Battle Cry, which gives you 100% crit, your execute is free, and it will do it will do damage. I'm pretty sure it'll do damage as if it consumed the extra rage. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it does, to be honest. It feels like it does. It must. Okay. I'm not like a super hardcore nerd. I haven't really tested all this stuff, but like, if they're in execute range, and you have Battle Cry, and you have Deadly Calm, you just spam execute. Like, you Colossus Smash, and you hit your execute button for 5 seconds, and it all crits, and it's all free, and they're dead. Like, no, you don't live through that. Like, that's actually insane damage. That's ridiculous. Even in PvE, like, that's nuts. Because execute is by far your hardest hitting move. It's your best move, right? Like, that's actually why you would pick Arms over Fury. Damage-wise, not like mechanics or playstyle, because like Fury is kind of weird with their enrage and stuff. Like, execute hits crazy hard. Not as hard as it did in WAD. WAD just one-shot people. This it'll like two-shot them. But if you compare it to the rest of your moves, execute does like crazy damage. So having free execute in execute phase with 100% crit is like amazing. So that's why I think Deadly Calm is like way better than Trauma. It makes your rotation better because it solves kind of your rage problems, and in execute phase it is easily the best talent. And once again, to reiterate, I think you should be playing to your strengths and not your weaknesses, and I think Arms' strength is execute and single target damage, execute finisher. That's why you want an Arms warrior. Now, this part of the talent tree, Ravager, bad. Maybe if you shockwave, like, I don't know, this move sucks. It's PvE, alright? Let's just not. Maybe you're janky and you shockwave Ravager with Battle Cry up and you're nuts. Fuck no, dude. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? This thing sucks, dude. People just run out of it, man. I don't know what to tell you unless you can slow them, like, especially compared to these two. So, Opportunity Strikes, most people take this. This is amazing. You should definitely take it. At least, especially now, right? But when Legion hits, I think Anger Management is way better. Because, two things. First thing is you have a golden trait on your artifact weapon that makes you do like 20% extra damage as a shadow for 5 seconds when you hit Battle Cry, which immediately makes Battle Cry better than Opportunity Strikes to me, because you're essentially, it's just like part of your artifact weapon gives you more damage when you Battle Cry. Why would you not want to Battle Cry more, right? You're playing into your artifact weapon. It's crazy, right? Even though Opportunity Strikes is super strong. And it can proc a lot. And it keeps them low, too. This is why this is good, because the lower health they get, the more it procs. And so the lower health they get, the lower and lower health they keep getting. Like, it scales, because you'll start getting more and more procs, and it hits really hard. Right? So, but then the other reason why you take Anger Management, especially in Legion, is because you get an honor talent called Pain Train, I believe. It's like second to last tier, all the way on the right. And that makes it so your Battle Cry affects everybody. Everybody in I just drank some water there. Everybody in like a 10-yard radius, I don't know, whatever the yard is, it affects your allies, and it gets like a 15% cooldown reduction. And if you combine that with Anger Management, like, Battle Cry becomes like actually like one of your best moves. Like, you hit that all. It goes from being like that 1 minute cooldown you time with some stuff to like you hit that like every 10 to 20 seconds, and all your team gets 100% crit, and you play with a melee, monk or a rogue or any melee character, and you become a monster. You become like, so you actually have utility. Like, you give them 100% crit. Like, that's insane. So that's why I think Anger Management, like, right now on prepatch, these are equal to me, and when Legion hits, I think this will be better. So Yeah, that's how the talents go. Here's the so Pain Train is what you would be taking in Legion. I think that Shadow of the Colossus is good, but it like this is so crazy. Like giving teammates 100% crit is just such a, like, it has so much potential as a mechanic. This is like for you, cool. I got my Colossus Smash back, but you're probably gonna reset it more often than not. Like, it's RNG. I don't like RNG. This kind of gives you some control over your RNG that you wouldn't have had normally. Instead of waiting for procs, you can charge knowing that you'll get an instant reset. But yeah, intercept is obviously like, maybe if you're crazy and you want to like intercept a polymorph or something. I don't know. It's okay, but like yeah. So, I guess I could actually talk about honor talents too. So, you probably take Gladiator's Medallion. Relentless is not that great unless you take it as Orc, in my opinion, because I think it's a lot better to decide which CC you want to get out of than just sit through every CC just a shorter time. Unless you're like a healer or something. Like if you're a warrior, like you're not going to be getting like spam polyed and feared really, or like your healer will dispel you if you're polyed. So it's not a big deal having this. You don't really need it. This one is meh. I don't know. I don't really like it. I think it's way better to choose what you want to get out of than have the shorter cooldown. Yeah. So in this tier, you probably... I think it's between these two. This one is insane because if you combine this with defensive stance, at 80% health or above, you have 40% damage reduction, which is like old school shield wall. That's crazy, dude. You're so tanky if you take this. And especially in arenas and threes, like you're probably going to be topped off a lot. You're going to be getting healed, right? So there's a high chance you'll be above 80% health. And if you think about it, it scales with itself. Like now, so above 80% health, you take 20% less damage, right? That means that it becomes harder for you to get below 80% health, right? Because you're taking reduced damage the whole time, which gives you a higher uptime of being in that health range because you are taking less damage and it's harder to get you out of it, which in turn gives you more value from the passive. Especially if you combine it with defensive stance, you're pretty much a tank, to be honest. So that's really good. The other one that's really good, though not as great for arms, would be reinforced armor health. Generally, you take this if you have percent health scaling moves that heal you, like Fury, Bloodthirst heals you for percent of your health, you know. So this one was really good for you. Other classes, if they have percent health healing. Arms doesn't. Its only real healing is Mortal Strike, which is percent damage done from the Mortal Strike. And it doesn't scale with your health. It scales with how hard you hit with Mortal Strike. So it's good. It's probably your next best bet. And then Sparring is RNG, right? I don't know, maybe if you're versing straight melees like your whole life, it might be good. But then if you're not taking this, you're probably going to be taking Hardiness, right? So in this tier, Blood Hunt is probably your best bet. Death Row is Death Sentence is like, it's kind of, I don't know. This one is really good because it has the snare removal. That's pretty much why you take it. Snares are suppressed for at least 5 seconds. That's pretty amazing if you think about it. You like, and 15% move speed. Like, this is crazy. Take this, I guess, if you really want the charge from it. You take it for the mobility, but I think Blood Hunt is like amazing. So this tier, like Spell Reflect, you probably just take Spell Reflect. This one is meh. This one is meh. They're not great. You don't really need this, to be honest. Like, you're not gonna, unless you have double time. Like, unless you have one charge, you know, whatever the cooldown is, like 20 seconds. Like, this kind of sucks. And this, if you play like this spec, maybe if you're slamming and trauma and you don't take Dauntless, you'll have tons of rage issues. So this might be good, but you'll probably just end up using Spell Reflect because this is super strong defensive cooldown. I already went over this. Pain Train, Shadow of the Colossus. Pain Train is probably the best. And here, Wrecking Crew is interesting. I'm not sure how great it is, to be honest. It's not really a big deal. Maybe if you're in BGs and RBGs, like, it's only 8 yards though. Like, it's so short. Like, I don't know. It might be good in RBGs, but in arenas it's definitely not great because you're probably going to be doing a lot of single target damage. And even then, with Mortal Combo, if you wanted to hit 2 people, you could just like hit one guy with Mortal Strike, hit another guy with Mortal Strike. Maybe this will make it easier to key with the debuff, but that's not a big deal, to be honest. You're usually just going to be killing one target. Maybe if you're playing WLS and you're just killing your whole team, you know? I don't know. And then you compare it to Sharpened Blade. Sharpened Blade is good, I think, but it's an extra button, and it feels clunky, and I don't like that. I don't want to hit extra buttons, to be honest. Especially compared to Echo Slam, which is probably... this is definitely the best. Like, deals 10% of their total health. Not current health, total health. So max health. And it ignores all armor. Monstrous. Totally monstrous. Makes your Colossus Smash such a good button to hit. It pretty much becomes your best button, I think, next to Execute. So, yeah. They're the honor talents. They're the normal talents. Playstyle-wise, like, Hamstring, Colossus Smash. Try and do your Battle Cries in Colossus Smash for max damage, but it's not a big deal, to be honest. Like, I think it's more important to just get Battle Cry and cooldown if you're running anger management, so you can cycle them and you'll have more up during the fight. Like, it really sucks to, because sometimes you sit there and you're like, okay, I'll wait for a Colossus Smash proc, right? And you're just like, where's my proc? Where's my proc? You know, you're standing around doing nothing, and then your Battle Cry is just sitting there, not going on cooldown, not getting benefit from anger management, and then you just get trolled by Blizzard because they wanted to make ARMS an RNG spec because like everyone loves that. Yeah. So yeah, you pretty much want to hit them really hard, really fast. Forehead. Use your root breaks when you need them, stuns when you need them. Battle Cry and Colossus Smash. Yeah, you're pretty much good to go. I don't think any of these classes are really that complicated to play. Like class-wise, like arenas or BGs, like they have their own playstyle associated with them, you know, like you're really good at doing battlegrounds, or you're really good at doing arenas, especially arenas. There's like a different skill set in there, like when to kick, when to CC, blobbity bloobity blah, whatever. Positioning and all that crap. But just class-wise, like it's not that complicated. I guess I could show you hitting it. Like you Colossus Smash, and then you go ham. You just pop everything, and bam, bam, and then it's like, oh, I got a Colossus Smash, cool, oh, you know. Anyway, it's not that hard. You just hit this button, and this button, and this button. And then when you need to get to them, you use your charge button. And when you need to do damage, you use this button. I mean, maybe this one. So yeah, that's the arms were good. It was actually more in depth than I thought it would be, but yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Peace.